Welcome back to Galen Rambles, where I talk about the shit I've done for the past 10 years and the people I've met along the way. Welcome back, everybody, to another one of my rambles. Today we're going to talk about Knox Mountain Hillclimb in 2011. It's probably the first Knox Mountain event I went to that I brought my camera, so lots of pictures, lots of fun memories, and some interesting cars. But first, for those of you that don't know what Knox Mountain is, it's a hill climb event based in Kelowna, BC. It's 3.5 kilometer hill climb with approximately 800 feet in elevation and a grade of 6.7%. There's lots of records, but I think like anything I've seen under 2 minutes is pretty scarily fast. But we'll go into a little bit of that so you think a little bit later, or I'll post a link to some records you guys can look up. Yeah, overall record I think to this date is 137, which terrifies me for 3.5 kilometers up a hill. But anyway, let's take a look at some pictures. That's the one I wanted. So first up is a 300ZX. It's a full tube frame car. This was one of a pair of, I think, old CSCC cars that used to run the GT4 class or something. Can't remember exactly, but they were, like I said, full tube frame cars with 300ZX bodies. I think the first time I saw them, this was the second year I saw them. One still had a 300ZX body, and I think the other one had a 350Z body. But the weird thing was, hearing them come up the hill, they were powered by L28s, which confused the shit out of me the first time. Because you hear an L28 coming up the hill, and you automatically think it's a like 260Z or 280Z or something that's coming up that hill, and then this appears. Crazy fast cars and very fun looking cars. This is a E36 M3, I believe. Andre, I forget his last name again. He's an instructor at UBC. Very, very smart guy. This car evolves a lot over the years and just gets faster and faster and faster. I think this was his supercharged setup. Pretty powerful car, really fast. But as I said, like again, it just gets faster and faster and faster over the years. This is a Vauxhall powered Mini. It's the strangest thing to hear coming up the hill. But super fast and super fun to watch, and comes every year. Not something you see every year is a 240SX coming up Knox Mountain. I'm used to these as drift cars, so to see this racing was kind of wild. He did pretty good. It was kind of fun to watch, I guess, a different sport in these cars. Another well-built Volvo. Don't remember much about this car, but I do remember it going up the hill. Anyway, looks like it's been around the block a few times too. This is a MG. This is one of a pair of MGs. They're friends. This one is, I think this is still a factory motor. I believe it's factory motor still. Still comes to the hill to this year. I mean, last year I was there. It was really fun to watch. It's not super fast, but looks like a lot of fun to drive and still very factory. So kind of cool little, I guess, piece of history. I think this is... I can't remember if this was Greg or if this was Sheridan. There's two red CRXs that are very similar. I can't remember which one's which. So if I got it wrong, I'm sorry. But I think that one's... I don't remember. I'll get it right one day. Yeah, I don't know who's who. This one was funny. It's a very fast Omni. I have no idea how it's so fast, but it rips up that hill, and it comes every year again. I have no idea what's in it for power plant. I've never actually looked, but just a wild little car. We had a couple of years where we saw a lot of classic Porsches come up the hill. Perfect kind of track for it. You don't need much for a cage if you have a factory car, but these guys all have 6-point cages. But good fun. I think this one actually ended up sliding off the hill in turn 4. Maybe not. And then we stopped seeing them. Wonder why. Ah, yes, here's the other two-frame car. So this was 350Z body this year. Again, still weird to hear an L28 come ripping up the hill and disappears. This was, I believe this was an LS-powered Mustang. I've seen it for a couple of years, but I think it's an LS, which, in 2011 was kind of weird to see. I'm not sure if this is the same car or not, but anyway, you can see off in the corner the volunteers working turn 4B. You sit up this hill and you wait to run down to sweep, because turn 4A and B are really bad for people going off in the gravel and digging up dirt, so you sweep a lot. More Andres. I can't for life remember who was driving this, but this was a fairly bone stock R32 GTR. Anyway, like another really fun car to rip up this hill. It would be perfect car for it. It wasn't particularly fast, but it looks like a lot of fun. And having owned 2 of those now, I can say it would be a lot of fun. This is Bill, I think. This was Bill, yeah. This is a Rover V8 powered Datsun. It sounded awesome. I loved the way that car sounded. Couldn't beat it. It was perfect. Here is... why is his name escaping me? Anyway. I'll remember it eventually, I'm sure. But this was a propane-powered Prelude. It's a turbo... I think D-Series in it. Or maybe H... I don't remember what was in it. I think it was a single cam, so I think it was a D-Series, but again, this was 10 years ago. Yeah, it was a propane-powered car. It was crazy. It made a lot of boost. This was the first year I think he ran a front splitter. So he was kind of working through some aero issues to try and get the car to stick, which ended up in that. This was about a corner after this picture. Unfortunately, he lost control of the rear end of the car and ended up off in the trees right before turn 6, I think it was. He's fine. Car was not fine, but he had another car, so he came back the next year ready to go. Oh, great fun in the BMWs. I love watching people lock up brakes. It was kind of my thing back then. This was a midget racer from Penticton. So he does like the circle races or like oval races at Penticton Speedway. Pretty sure this is a car. It's like a pretty standard dwarf car, except this had a like a Ford Cosworth motor in it, I think. It's a 4-cylinder. It revs up pretty high. I mean, for the weight of the car, I think it made like 150 horsepower. That car was flying. And every year, he seemed to shed more body material. You can see it's kind of stripped down. This year, yeah, he went off. Not badly, but needed to fix some things. I think he ended up on his roof at some point, too. But these guys were great fun to watch. I think there was a pair of them. But they were great fun to watch rip up this hill. This is... Oh, I forget whose... It was rare to see open-wheel cars in 2011. I didn't see a lot of them. We started to see more and more of them, I guess, as time went on. This was a pair of drivers. They were testing for some timing equipment or something, I think. I don't remember what they were testing something. Anyway, their car ripped. It was fun. It was a little like I think this was a 4-cylinder. There was another one that was like a snowmobile motor, but I don't think that was this one. This is that other MG, as you can see, dragging that front splitter across the ground. It's got a small block Chevy V8 in it. This thing moves. Like crazy moves. It blows my mind every time they go up that hill. Yeah. Probably one of the oldest running cars still going up the hill. This is an Alfa Romeo that has been off the hill a few times. They literally run this car, like they've got this down to the last, ounce of fuel they need. They run this car out of gas crossing the finish line. These guys have this down to a science going up this hill. I mean, probably doing it 25 years in this car, but definitely down to a science. Really cool. Yeah, still don't know who this is. I think this might have been Sheridan. I don't know. That Porsche again. An actual Mini. He shows up every couple of years. I don't think he comes every year, but I think he shows up every couple of years. Yeah, it's, again, great fun to watch. I like watching more stockish vintage cars. I don't know why. This was my friend Aaron. This is his first year at Knox. I think this was in his Miata. Did pretty well. Like he had some goals he kind of worked through and hit, and I think he hit the time he was looking for. But I think it was a stock motor Miata, so you just literally wind that thing out and go up the hill. One of my favorite cars on the hill was this 510. Still is. Doesn't come every year, but most years is there. Oh yes, another one of the Porsches. This is going into turn 8. So this is a big, like, left-hand sweeper up a hill. It's really hard to put the power down once you go up. Can't remember who this is. I think this was Shane, but I can't remember. Yeah, so here you can see, like, you start going up this hill, and you unload the car going up the hill, and you're trying to put power down, and you generally rear-wheel drive cars will just light the tires up going up this hill trying to get the power down, and front-wheel drive cars will understeer or torque steer or whatever you want to call it. Yes, the Volkswagen. I miss this car. It was such a clean, like, Volkswagen. Not something you see every day, especially as a race car. But beautiful car. I don't know what happened to it. I haven't seen it in years. Yes. Here's a snowmobile powered something. I think this was just built for Hillclimb. And yeah, it just wasn't super fast. It was pretty quick. I mean, it was very light, and that motor doesn't make a lot of power, so it was still pretty quick, but man, like just hearing it winded up the hill was fun. That open wheel car again. Looks like they had added a little bit of a arrow back here to get something. Yeah, occasionally you see like stock looking cars, which is always fun. This guy's on slicks. I think it was a fairly heavily modified small block Chevy, but still like crate motor-ish. Just ripping up the hill, having a good time. Street prepared 4, so yeah, he would have been. No, SP4 doesn't exist. Yeah, SP4. Don't know. He would have been. I don't know. SP4. I don't remember what SP4 is. I think this is stock motor. Yeah, it would be stock motor. So no motor swaps, stuff like that. Motor swaps will get you into SP3, I think. I don't remember. Look at the rules again. More R32. I missed mine. Crazy little wide body Mustang. The bodywork on this thing was phenomenal. Like it kind of terrified me that he was racing this thing up a hill that had trees and cliffs everywhere. It's very well done. More of that Alpha GT5. Oh, Campbell. Campbell is probably one of the more exciting drivers to watch. This is him literally every time he comes up the hill around this corner, that car is somewhat sideways. It's a Pontiac Firebird with, I don't know if he went LS in that thing or not, but it's got a good amount of power in it. But great fun to watch, and he just rips this thing up the hill. We had an oops. They did get the car back together, as you can see, and race up the hill, but most of the front end was destroyed, so such is life. But they still kept going, so that's pretty good. Yeah, that 350Z two-frame car, 300Z or whatever it was. Yes. So this will come into play a couple years later, but I think I wanted to show this car because this is a father-son team. This car was built in 93, I think. I think I want to talk to them. It was, they built the car in 93 and have literally raced it every year since. It's 93, 95, whatever year Mustang that was. But brand new car, built it, raced it, continued to race it. They raced it right up until, I think, 2013. But we'll talk about that in a couple of, videos when I go through 2013 Knox. But yeah, it was really fun to watch these two, like, father-son team just, they co-drove the car and just ripped it up this hill. Great fun. Anyway, that's the end. Nice short one today, 20 minutes. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, lots of questions I'm sure about Knox. If you haven't been, you should go. It is great fun. They're always looking for volunteers to work corners. I'm there every year. So I try to be every year. I would like to drive it one year, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.